Hey, hello YouTubers. Hey, welcome back to the channel, The Virginia Bushcrafter. Hey guys, if this is your first time here, this is the channel where we continue to learn and practice the skills of bushcrafting, prepping, and survival in the wilderness. So guys, a few weeks ago I did a video on 3 skills that a bushcrafter not only must know, but they must master those skills. And those skills are shelter, fire, and water. Now, it's very unlikely that those skills can be accomplished with just your bare hands. You're going to need some type of tool. I think one of the most valuable tools is a knife. So when you're making a shelter, whether it is a debris shelter or a man-made shelter, you're going to need a knife. When you make a fire, you're going to need a knife or axe or hatchet. But mainly you're going to need a knife. And if you're going to source water, you can always use a knife to help you dig. So today I want to talk about a knife that I purchased some time ago, many years ago. I'm going to say maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And it was just before, no, I'm going to say maybe 4 years ago. And it was just before I really started bushcrafting. And I purchased a knife for exactly $10 from a big box store known as Walmart. And I really enjoyed that knife so much that I ended up buying another one just as a backup in the event that they stopped selling that knife. Now, you can buy a knife from $10 to $100 up to $1,000. But remember, that knife is only as good as the user's experience, skill, and knowledge. So I want to talk to you today about a knife known as the Camillus 9.5-inch titanium bonded fixed blade knife. Now this knife, the blade design, the knife itself is 9.5 inches from the toe to the heel. Now this says it is a full tang knife. However, because the handle is enclosed in thermoplastic rubber, I really don't know how far the tang goes because I have a lanyard here. But it says, so I'm assuming, I would really venture to say that it is a rat tail tang. However, this fixed blade with a full tang or rat tail tang, it adds strength. There's no moving parts, and it supports a stronger and more rigid handle. Now, it has a nice sweeping blade. And this blade is 4.75 inches, but it has a cutting edge of 4.25 inch cutting edge. And this is good for carving. If you're going to do some carving, it's good for feather sticking. You can do your carving. So this blade is definitely, this sweeping blade here, it's good for slicing as well. Now this blade has what is known as a straight back. That is a straight back blade. However, it is known as a drop point because the point is lower than the beginning of the handle. If you look at this, you can see the point is below the back of the handle. So this is known as a drop point. Now, this blade, this drop point, it is good for, again, it's good for piercing if you want to make a bow drill, or if you want to, you don't have an awl, you can pierce into leather, into wood, and you can also use this for penetrating through tough objects. Now the spine is a 90-degree, and I believe the width is just a tad bit over 3/16 of an inch. And this is very good for the ferrocerium rod. It's very good for scraping bark off a tree or making tinder dust. Just go up to the tree with this 90 degrees and you can pull bark off the tree. You can actually take a piece of fat wood and make fat wood dust out of this. And of course it has a hollow grind. You can see the hollow grind, micro bevel edge here. And this is good for slicing as well as cutting. You can cut material with this very easily. You can slice very easily. And this weighs only 0.05 ounces. And it is light, it's strong, and it's non-rusting. So guys, I would say if you're a beginner, bushcrafter, camper, hey, this is a great budget knife. Like I said, I bought this knife some years ago for $10. I'm sure it retails for about $20 now. But let's talk about the alloys or the elements that makes this such a great knife. This knife has a 420, well, it's 420 high carbon steel. But let's talk about 420. Now, you may not think very much of 420 steel, but it is a good steel because this steel, the elements of this steel, 85 to 88% of the iron is just, that's totally steel. It has 0.15 to 0.45% carbon. Now, this is in steel. It has 12 to 14% chromium. It has up to 1% of manganese. It has up to 1% of silicon. It has up to 1% of has up to 1% of silicon, up to 4% of phosphorus, and up to 0.3% of sulfur. So this makes this a very tough blade. However, with this blade, it is a high carbon chromium blade. So the carbon in this is from anywhere from 0.6 to 2.0 of carbon. And we all know that carbon is very sharp, it's easy to sharpen, it holds the edge. It may require a little bit more maintenance than just stainless steel. But high carbon steel is very easy to sharpen, especially when you're in the field. It requires a little bit more maintenance. Also, it has 12% chromium. Now we know that chromium is corrosion and rust resistance, and that's going to help you with your maintenance. But what really makes this a good knife is that it is titanium bonded. Now, when we say titanium bonded, it makes it 3 times harder than untreated steel. So this is a super hard outer shell that is tough, and this shell lasts maybe like 3 times harder than stainless steel. So again, this is a titanium bonded blade, and the advantages of this titanium bonded blade is that it's sharper, it stays sharper longer, and it's better resistance to corrosion. Now, one of the reasons this is such a good blade is because this blade can actually deform or be bent without breaking or cracking. Again, this can be, as sometimes if you're doing some type of whittling or making feather sticks, you may have a tendency to really push down, and you may get, I can't feel it here, but this can bend and it will not crack. It's very pliable and flexible, and this is known as ductility. So how did they get this ductility? They get this ductility by heating this blade up to a very specified heat and slowly letting it cool down to remove any type of grinds or stress related issues with the steel. So it's, once this cools down and internal stress and impurities have been removed from the grains, that increases the ductility because it also removes the hardness, and this is known as annealing, which is a heating process. So again, the ductility, which allows this to be flexible, or you can somewhat deform it, and it's not going to break, it's not going to crack. And this is done again by heating this blade up to a specified temperature, allowing it to slowly cool at a rate to remove impurities and internal stress in the grain, which thereby it increases the ductility of the knife, and it makes it harder. And as a result of that, this knife has a 54 Rockwell hardness. Now you may say only 54 when Rockwell hardness goes up to 63, 64. Well, it has a Rockwell hardness of 54 because of the ductility and the annealing. Now keep in mind that with 420 steel, the Rockwell hardness only ranges from 48 to 56. So if the Rockwell hardness is ranging from 48 to 56, 54 is a very good hardness. So since we know all the elements of this knife, and it is known to be a very sharp knife, let's do a paper cut before we go on. This is a very sharp knife. Let me see if I can put you in a better focus. Very sharp. Very sharp. So again, I think this is a knife that a beginner, intermediate, advanced, expert outdoorsman, camper, bushcrafter, hunter, fisherman, I think this knife can fulfill your needs. It's going to help you accomplish all your tasks. Now, one thing I really like is the handle, and I always say the knife must feel comfortable in your hand. This has an ergonomic non-slip grip. This grip is going to provide you with nothing but comfort and control. Just look at that grip. And that grip, it is because it's a thermoplastic rubber, which is a synthetic material that's used in many other tools, the handle of many other tools. It's rubber-like, it's a rubbery like elastic that's flexible and it's tough. This material is often used in products that come in contact with the human body. You can take this handle and you can somewhat squeeze it and it comes back to its original form. That is one reason why, again, I bought two of them, because this knife, it really feels good in my hand. Now, it even has a very nice finger guard. A finger guard. Very good finger guard. Right in here. And look at it has a very nice contour for your fingers. And when you put your fingers in that contour with the protection of that finger guard and put your thumb on this jimping, you have a very secure grip. Not to forget that it has a very nice texture. Very nice texture. And with the lanyard hole, with the fantastic finger guard, finger contour, jimping, and with leather gloves on, and with a lanyard, you're in total control and comfort using this knife. Now, this knife comes with a ballistic nylon sheet that basically it protects your blade from debris and any other foreign object. And it comes with a 2-inch belt loop. So I think this is a pretty good knife. I've used it before. I'm going to use it more. And the good thing about it, it comes with a lifetime warranty. So I would say don't sleep on this if you see it in Walmart for $18, $19, $20. Again, it's a very good knife. And again, just remember, a knife is only as good as the user's experience, skills, and knowledge. So guys, get your cutting tools. Just go out there and do some whittling. Do a tri-stick where you make different notches. Great ferrocerium rod, used for a ferrocerium rod. Removing bark off the tree. Piercing, penetration. I mean, this knife does it all. It just depends on the user. And again, with this handle, thermoplastic rubber, you can just squeeze it and remove the pressure, and you can feel it coming back to its conformity. It's a very good knife. Again, it's a high carbon knife. It has chromium and it is coated with titanium bonded, which makes it 3 times as hard as steel. So guys, hey, if you're on a budget, this is the knife to get. If you are an expert, this knife will help you accomplish your task. All right, guys, I just wanted to bring this to your attention to let you know there's a knife in every price range. Just take that knife, get out there, and practice. All right, guys, this is the Virginia Bushcrafter signing off. Like, comment, share, much appreciated. Take care, everyone.